don't choose duality over singularity. So now what do I mean by that? Well, everywhere in life we are shown that we have two options to go for, whether it's in the government, the Democratic Party, or the Republican Party, or whether when it comes to the gender wars, men going their own way, or feminism, or you're gonna drive electric cars or gas cars. They want to get you stuck between these two choices, between these dualistic mindset, which gets you to see things in opposition to each other. While in reality, when we look everywhere we look, things come together to create singularity. Things come together to create forms and things of that nature. So my goal for you is today is not to choose the dualistic options that they have given you, meaning that which one are you really gonna choose? Your left brain or your right brain? Your left brain chakras or your right brain chakras? God gave you all of these things at once. So why not learn to use all of these things at once? Why not learn to be a singular person? Because what you're going to realize is there's a lot of power in singularity, rather than you operating in a mental form that keeps you stuck in duality, keeping you stuck between these two options and things of that nature. So you don't want to be in that, because it's not going to give you the access, the full power of understanding this reality. You're going to find yourself siding with one side and not understanding the other side, and really both are just kind of like a ploy and things like that. So you don't want to be stuck between these two dualistic options. You want to know how to bring both of these options together. You want to be able to create new forms with your mind, because that's how new forms get created. Think about when your mother and father came together and had sexual intercourse. You came out of that. So these two forms had to connect for a new form to be created. But and what happens when that doesn't happen? People don't have kids, right? The race can't continue and things. So everywhere in nature we are seeing that the sperm comes together with an egg to create a new body. Now, whether that body tilts towards more the feminine aspects, or whether that body tilts towards more the masculine aspects, that's a non-issue, right? What's more important is what type of energy is that being going to bring into this world by them having a form to contain themselves as a spirit within a vessel to operate through. And is that form going to be thought about? Is that form going to be polarized in reality? Because everywhere we go, we see polarization everywhere we go, right? Like I said, men going their own way, feminism. You can look at this in your own time, but you can always see that someone is trying to get you to pick either or, but never to unite the two. So you want to be able to unite the two, because again, you have a left brain and a right brain. So you'd prefer to operate just straight out of your left brain, like what? So you don't want to operate out of your right brain. So you want to only be right brained, but you don't want to be left brained. Like, you just don't like that shit. You just discriminating against your own biology, discriminating against stellar theology, which is the sun and the moon. We see that these two forces come together to create this sphere of experience that encompasses, the planets, the stars, the human experience, and things like that. So there wasn't these two sides coming together, this form would not be sustainable. So for us to create a better, healthier lifestyle and a more meaningful, long lifestyle where we can experience, peaceful emotions, where we can experience beautiful ideals, where we can experience, things that we can actually love, value, and appreciate. And when we can create passions and desires that are for us, these are all just examples of left brain and right brain chakras. But a lot of these modern day religions like Islam, like Christianity, they want to get you stuck in one of those aspects. And a lot of those Abrahamic religions really come from men that are insecure about the power of the feminine, and they seek to really conquer that and put that down. That's why in a lot of churches, in a lot of mosques, you'll never really find female preachers. You never really find women that are speaking, that are in the positions of leadership. Now, sure, we might get some stories about that here and there, but look at the dominant theme. The dominant theme is, hey, look, man is supposed to lead this and this and that, and the woman is supposed to sit down and just listen to the man. So, and that doesn't allow the community to truly be united, because it takes more than masculinity. It takes more than structure. It takes femininity. It takes nurturing. It takes understanding people's emotions and things like that, because life is not necessarily logical at all. Life is not logical. Everyone does very irrational, very illogical things. Like, if you stab a man for 20, 30 times, then that's clearly not logical. You could have just stabbed him once and killed him right away, but you just wanted to, what, make a show or something? Like, that seems like to me someone was lost in the emotion, someone was lost in the feeling. And so whenever we don't incorporate those two aspects appropriately into society, we start to find that, things are kind of out of whack. The gears are not working as they're supposed to be. And that's when we start asking ourselves questions like, what's wrong with society? Something is missing. So, and something is clearly missing. And it's usually the feminine attributes. A lot of females don't express their feminine wisdom. They don't express that God-given knowledge that they have been given, because it's supposed to assist humanity. Look, guys, every body that's on Earth contains information in it, and that information is an imprint from a cosmic grid. And that information can assist humanity in moving forward. So there's no such thing as someone who's not valuable. There's no such thing as someone who's not useful to the community. No, everybody's valuable. Everybody's powerful. But we need to start letting go of these ideals and these shackles and these religious beliefs that, keep us in a state of mind where, we believe and we make less of ourselves. We believe and we make less out of others, because, again, the same way it works at the bottom is the same way it works at the top. The same way, gang members, the big OG or whatever they call it, what I'm saying, takes advantage of, the younger gang members and tells them, hey, you guys go do this, you guys go do this. It's the same shit. You have a bunch of people that are puppets, and you have somebody that's acting as a form of a master above these puppets, and everywhere you go it's the same shit. So, and in jail as well. So, everyone is trying to make everyone their bitch, meaning that everyone is operating from an extreme masculine energy, trying to subdue someone else's feminine energy. Whether you're a man or a female, doesn't matter, because they just got to get your emotions, they got to get your feelings. And then once they get you feeling in a particular way, you're going to start acting and behaving that way. And that's when they got you. So that's what the dominant culture be trying to do. They be trying to get us to feel a particular way, and they usually do it through this snake media. And what I mean by that is because look, we're not cosmic beings just yet. In this body, we're still somewhere between like demons and between angels type of shit. And what I mean by that is we basically have access to both polar shifts. That's the life of a human. And them knowing that, obviously it gives them the ability to kind of rule over us, especially them knowing this esoteric knowledge. And they know that this really applies to nobody, and it don't really matter if you're in a masculine body or you're in a feminine body, because you're gonna see some females that have more masculine attributes and characteristics, but they still got access to that feminine realm just due to their body composition and things like that. And you're gonna see some men that kind of like act a little bit feminine, not that they're feminine, but they have access to the attributes and characteristics of the feminine realm and things like that. So growing up, they might have some problems let's just say calibrating that or including that in their characteristics and attribute daily routine, because who you are being should be consistent with your cosmic blueprint. And you're gonna have a masculine figure in your life that's telling you, hey man, you a man, bro, don't cry. Crying is not right or wrong. Crying is just an action of letting go. You can cry out mentally, meaning that you can just learn to let go of an emotion. And crying is not really something sad. You can cry out of gratitude. You can cry out of happiness. So crying has nothing to do with how Hollywood programmed this, or how the masculine departments of the government, through religion, through education or whatever, telling you, hey, or the military, hey, look, crying is feminine. You men shouldn't cry, blah, 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 blah. All that is just bullshit. All they did was just reverse engineer our biology and our spirituality, just to use against us. And so we're supposed to start to wake up out of these dualistic truths and get into the singular truths. And it gets into, the holistic reality of who we really are, and the collective identity of humanity as a whole. Because we all mankind is related. We are not separated. But what you have is occultists. What you have is sorcerers. What you have is psychologists. Whatever title they want to put upon their occupation or whatever. because they have many occupations, really. Everyone has many occupations, really, at the end of the day. But whatever title they choose to put on themselves, whether they're, eugenicists or whatever like that, that they still understand in that position a form of knowledge, a specialized form of knowledge that allows them to, reign over others. And you don't necessarily reign over others. You want to show people the way themselves, because we can all get there together. You can look around the earth right now. There's so much abundance on the earth. There's no way that people should be, in poverty. There's no way that people should be hungry, things like that. But it's not about necessarily the government and what they're doing. It's about us and what we're doing to ourselves. Because again, we carry these generational curses. It's not like the government is sitting there holding a gun to your head, stopping you, like, hey man, don't be successful, don't be rich, don't do these things. It's really just us doing these things to ourselves. Because again, we as spirits, when we reincarnate, when we create a soul to operate through a vessel, we are replicating the same format of information, the same actions, the same reactions, everything we did from a past life onto this life. And if you're in a human body, then chances are you really didn't graduate yet. So this is just like a schooling ground. So don't get caught up in the circumstances around you. We're supposed to create the circumstances with our state of mind, because God really want to see, okay, is you gonna let the world outweigh you, or is you going to create some kind of way to outweigh the world in your emotions, in your ideals, just in your internal state of being and things like that? Because you don't want to have your internal state of being affected by something outside of you. You want to solve your problems yourself. And we all have access to source, guys. We all have access to God. You just have to ask a question, and you have to pay attention to your environment, and you'll be able to see an answer, because that's what your brain is doing. Once you program the reticular activating system, and it's clear, it's clear, it's not cluttered with some old baggage and some old programming, it's going to actually provide you with that answer right away. That's how even these Greeks were making, astrology signs and things, because they were trying to find correspondences. And so you're always going to find some kind of correspondence for the things that you're looking for, whether you're looking for confidence, whether you're looking for a peaceful mind, whether you're looking to be more compassionate, or whether you're looking to take more responsibility for your life, your wife, your family, and all these things. God is always going to show you the answer, but you have to seek God, source, earnestly and honestly. And I'm not talking about the Abrahamic Jewish God. That's a middleman. I'm talking about source, by God. I'm talking about the source of this reality. When you look at your cells, when you zoom in, you're going to find plethora of bodies within bodies within bodies within bodies. I mean, it probably goes to like infinity, to be honest with you, to keep it real. So same thing with us being in a micro reality within this macro spectrum, with this macro reality. It's infinity, 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 and beyond, until you get to that one source, that one reality. And there's one motherfucker out there just holding it all together, type of shit. Imagine if this motherfucker exploded all of a sudden. This motherfucker killed himself. But see, that's the most responsible spirit in the world, and that's source code, and that's like the beginning of this all this. That's the alpha and the omega. But you got that imprint on you too, so you have access to that. But you just have to seek it honestly and earnestly, and not get stuck in these, self-created, often, delusions, or these self-created fears and shames and guilt trips that we throw ourselves upon, because that's not helping us move forward. So we should only think and feel about things that help us move forward. I love y'all, appreciate you, ain't nothing you could do about it. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. You better believe it.